Welcome to the Ching Divination channel. Today's topic is all about your prophecy. What's ahead for you? For today's pick a card reading, I've chosen to use Phantom Quartz. Last time I briefly mentioned its origin. It comes from North America and is believed to have protective, cleansing energy. In fact, there's a legend that says if you place 3 phantom quartz crystals under your pillow, they can ward off nightmares. I even tried it myself, though I don't usually have nightmares anyway, but I did notice my dreams became much fewer and lighter. Now, let's take a look at today's 4 groups. Group 1. Phantom Quartz Cluster with Rainbow Sheen, though my lighting here doesn't fully show it. Group 2. This one has lots of tiny golden inclusions. It's not a polished face, but a natural crystal cluster. Group 3. Another unique phantom quartz cluster. Group 4 also features rainbow reflections, though again, they're not so visible under this light. Alright, please take a moment now. Take 3 deep breaths, bring your attention inward, and choose the number or the crystal you feel most drawn to. Welcome to Group 1. Our indicator object today is this bling bling phantom quartz. It's actually quite shiny, though since I'm filming at dusk, it doesn't look as bright on camera. I'm not sure if this one has rainbow flashes, but let's just take it as it is. Now, the number hexagram we have is mountain over lake becomes mountain over water, Meng. This is the number hexagram we'll be working with. I'll also use the Z-Way cards to define more information and combine it with the loss hexagram as the starting point. When the hexagram of loss shows up at the beginning, it often means you're in the process of completing something or you're very close to reaching the final stage of a long journey. In other words, you've already put a lot of effort into something and it's now moving toward its conclusion. Interestingly, the very first Z-Way card we drew is Hongwan, the red matchmaker star. Just as I mentioned earlier, this shows that many of you in this group may still be secretly longing for love. Maybe you don't openly admit it, maybe you're just into a certain CP, or maybe there's someone you quietly like. The energy of Hongwan is exactly like that, romance that feels as fresh as the very first meeting, even after 10 years. This also tells me that what you're finishing up now isn't a short-term task. It's not something that lasts only a few days or a couple of months. This is something you've likely been carrying on for years, and once this cycle ends, you'll be facing some important choices ahead. Next, the main star that appears is Lianzhen, the perfectionist star. This shows that many of you here may have perfectionist tendencies. You really care about details and want everything to be done with precision, never sloppily. But when Lianzhen shows up together with Dahao, the exhaustion influence, it's a reminder that this mindset can be very tiring. While others might finish 5 or 6 tasks, you might only manage 1 or 2 because you push yourself so hard to do everything perfectly. That dedication is admirable, but it can also create a lot of mental pressure for you. I can sense that your current mental state isn't exactly the most bright and positive. Even if you seem obsessed with someone, a CP, or even a fictional character, it feels more like a way for you to release and relieve pressure, rather than genuine joy. You've been giving so much of yourself in many areas of life, and that can easily lead to heavy inner conflicts and self-drain. The star Lianzhen itself is known for this. People under its influence often feel stuck in difficulties, or at least believe they're stuck. Now, I know I've already shared quite a bit of background information. Normally, when I record videos, I don't dive this deep into energy confirmations. But I realize many of you really need that, some extra validation, some evidence that this reading is truly connected to your situation. So, let's now turn to another set of Z-Way cards and look at your personal prophecy, your small prediction. Today, I'm not going to talk about something too big or abstract. Let's keep it grounded and connect it to the hexagram sun transforms into Meng. Here's the story continued. Lianzhen and the sun hexagram suggest you are at the end of something long-term, something you've been working on for years. And now you're about to face a choice. This is where hesitation comes in. The hexagram of Meng reflects confusion, being unsure of which direction to take. But Sun to Meng clearly tells you, do not hesitate, do not slack off. For example, imagine you're graduating. You might feel lost thinking, maybe I should take a gap year. But this hexagram says don't. Keep moving forward, whether it's advancing your studies, pursuing a new degree, or stepping into the job market. Your hesitation comes from fear that your choice won't be correct. But the prophecy here is very clear. You will make the best possible decision. At this crossroads in life, you'll naturally choose what truly fits you and your nature. Even if it's about work changes, it doesn't necessarily mean quitting or switching jobs, but it does point to completing one stage and preparing for the next. You might feel tempted to pause, to wait until you see things more clearly. But Sun to Meng reassures you, you will make the most optimal choice, and you don't need to doubt yourself or seek endless confirmation. So the real question isn't, what exactly should I choose? But rather to understand that whatever choice you make will ultimately be the one most beneficial for you. As long as it comes from you, it will be the best option. So let go of the fear and take action with confidence. Now, let's look at some new information about your prophecy. Interestingly, this spread doesn't show a dominant ruling star, which reflects that sense of confusion and uncertainty you may be feeling right now. But at the same time, we see the presence of Tian Kuei and Tianda, both stars that symbolize supportive benefactors or helpful people. Many people think of benefactors as someone who will pull you out of the mud when you're stuck. But in truth, these helping hands often appear because of the effort you've already made. And this is very important. Since you're approaching a stage of completion and facing important choices, this is exactly the time when benefactors may step in. They may provide you with useful advice, practical information, or even connect you with the right people so you can move forward with your decision. So part of your prophecy here is clear. When you reach that moment of choice, you will not be alone. Help will arrive, and it will guide you toward the path that benefits you most. Now, let's take a look at this oracle card. Its message is, create your tomorrow today. This is actually a very powerful ritual that you can do right from your bed. Each night, before you fall asleep, take a moment to review the beautiful things that happened during the day and express your heartfelt gratitude. Then, visualize tomorrow. Plan to make it the most wonderful day of your life. When you wake up in the morning, before even getting out of bed, declare your intentions again. Imagine that today has already turned out amazing and express gratitude as if it has already happened. I believe this is a wonderful way to raise your energy. And according to the oracle, if you can maintain this high vibration, you'll be able to encounter your prophecy much sooner. Welcome to everyone who picked Group 2. Our marker for this group is this piece of blingy phantom quartz. If you look closely, you'll notice some little corners growing out from the crystal surface. That's just part of its natural mineral form. Now, for today's number casting, we've got Thunder over Water, Liberation. And as usual, we'll also be using the Ziwei deck to see how the messages align. The first star card we have is Tuoluo. This tells me that many of you in this group probably have a lighter complexion, and your gestures or the way you carry yourselves are very graceful, soft, and gentle. Honestly, I feel like this group may have a lot of women, but if you're a man, you probably also come across as refined, polite, and scholarly. Your energy isn't rough around the edges. You're not the fiery, loud type. Instead, you move through life in a calm, unhurried way. With Tuoluo, I also see that when you set a goal, you're not the kind of person who needs to shout about it, post daily updates, or make a big deal about your process. Instead, you quietly work on it step by step, at your own pace. Sometimes this energy can look like procrastination. You might know what you're supposed to do today, but find yourself drifting into something else instead. Still, overall you are steady and consistent, and that's your strength. With Tian Fu and Tai Yin both present, your chart is very stable. Tian Fu especially is tied to wealth, resources, and careful planning. This suggests that many of you will become excellent at managing money as you grow older, especially after the age of 35. Even if right now you don't feel like you're great at finances, Later in life, you'll really have that gift for organizing wealth and running household finances wisely. Another interesting point, with Xian here, you have a certain charm, almost a natural sensual or magnetic energy. The thing is, you may not even realize it. It's not something you actively put on display. It's just the way you speak, the softness in your movements, your elegance. It naturally makes you attractive, regardless of gender. For men, it often comes across as a gentle, gentlemanly vibe, while for women, it can feel refined and quietly enchanting. Altogether, this group gives me the feeling of a classic gentleman or lady in the old traditional sense, cultured, refined, steady, and humble. People are naturally drawn to you, not because you're the loudest in the room, but because being around you feels calm and safe. You come across as someone trustworthy, someone people can confide in like a big brother, big sister, or even a confidant. Another note, since both Tai Yin and Tian Fu are present, your energy tends to prefer quiet over noise. Many of you might enjoy staying home more than going out. Reading, studying, or just doing your own thing indoors feels comfortable and nourishing. As for body and appearance, this group may also notice changes with age. Some of you might start out very slim and grow fuller with time, while others may be chubbier in childhood and slim down beautifully as you grow older. Either way, the sense of refinement and elegance in your aura stays consistent. Now, let's take a look at your prophecy. If, at a certain stage of your life, you set a clear goal, not only can you achieve it, but you are also likely to accomplish much more than expected, what we might call killing 3 birds with 1 stone. The symbol of Tian Huasan, who doesn't just mean abundance in the field, but also implies gaining extra rewards. This shows that whenever you have a specific goal, the path you're walking is truly aligned with you, and you are destined to achieve remarkable results. People with this energy carry a very strong charisma, and these achievements are not just about reaching one simple target. They often bring about additional outcomes you may not have even imagined. It's like the saying, you plant flowers with intention, but they don't bloom. Yet when you plant willows without meaning to, they flourish into shade. This is a very auspicious sign. The energy in this group is especially strong and positive. Even though there may not be a dominant star here, the overall flow still shows the potential for recognition, success, and even fame. For example, if your life goal involves academics or gaining a certain reputation, these are things you are very likely to achieve. We also see the presence of Ling Xing and Xianqi again, just as in the previous group. Whether you are aware of it or not, you naturally possess a powerful charm, a kind of sensual magnetism. This isn't about dressing provocatively or building big muscles. Rather, it's an attraction that radiates from within, from your manner of speaking, your cultivation, and your inner grace. People simply feel that you are magnetic. In fact, this group seems to have a very distinctive quality in your voice. With Ling Xing appearing twice, it suggests that your voice may be soft, gentle, or naturally soothing, perhaps even magnetic. Many men, for instance, might not realize how attractive their voices are until others hear them in conversation or through recordings. It's the kind of voice that can sound like a broadcaster's, carrying resonance and natural talent. The appearance of Tian Gui reinforces this. No matter what kind of family background you come from, you project the aura of someone raised with good education and refinement. It doesn't necessarily mean being wealthy, but it reflects an upbringing rooted in culture, morals, and values. In ancient times, nobility was not only about wealth, but about virtue and character. And this is exactly how others perceive you, as someone of integrity, making it easy for people to trust you. Finally, with Tian Gui and Tian Shou appearing together, the message is clear. At a certain stage of your life, you'll be respected by many people. This respect may not come instantly. Rather, it often grows with age and maturity. The older you become, the greater the recognition and honor you will receive. And now I drew a major star, and it turns out to be the sun. The sun represents recognition. Whatever you are doing, it will be something that attracts a lot of attention from others. At the same time, the sun also symbolizes kindness. You are someone who naturally wants to shine your light, to warm and illuminate the people around you. This is the giving nature of the sun. If the sun happens to be positioned in the career palace, it suggests that your professional path will bring you into the spotlight, with many people noticing your work. Alright, welcome to Group 3, number 161. Your chosen item is this sparkling crystal, the shining diamond, with its unique shape and open facets. Now, let's take a look at the divination result. Hexagram Dessous, great accumulation, changing to hexagram Gu, decay. As usual, we will also bring in the Z-Way cards to correspond with this reading. First, let's match some information, and then move into today's message about your prophecy. The essence of Dessous is about accumulation, storing energy, and being ready to act. It's not about immediate action, but rather gathering strength, waiting for the right moment. This suggests that you already know what you want to do, or you've been making plans, but you haven't taken concrete steps yet. The reason is that you've been evaluating your environment, and perhaps you sense that the timing or circumstances are not fully in your favor. We see the Tianji, heavenly secret, star here, which represents planning and strategy. But it is followed by Tianyao and Tualuo, showing that things remain stuck in the planning stage, delayed, not moving forward. This is not because you lack intention, but because you feel the right time hasn't arrived yet. In truth, you are the type of person who lives by the phrase, silent for long, then astonishing in one strike. When you are in the stage of consideration, you are thoughtful, careful, and deliberate. But once you encounter something that truly resonates with your values or aligns with your vision, your action is decisive, powerful, and unstoppable. The presence of Wu Chu and Tianxing indicates strong execution and determination. Once you move, there will be no hesitation, no procrastination, only decisive action. It's like a spring being compressed. The tighter it's held back, the stronger the rebound once it is released. Now, let's turn to Tianyao, which often points to outward appearance or something noticeable about your looks. But when combined with the main stars here, Qisha, Wu Chu, Tianji, and Tianyao, it suggests that appearance is not your core focus. Instead, when you do pay attention to your looks, it's often purposeful, as part of personal branding, preparation for opportunities, or to create a smooth first impression in situations like interviews, meeting clients, or approaching authority figures. To be honest, this group values inner strength far more than outer beauty. Yet, you are also very aware of the reality of today's world, where appearance is power. So, your attention to presentation is less about vanity and more about understanding the cultural code of this era. Beyond appearance, there is something deeper. You carry within you a certain ambition, greater than that of ordinary people. You feel that life should not be limited to the ordinary, that you can open up a different path or create something new. For some people, life is just what it is, nothing more. But you have this quiet spark inside, a small seed whispering, "My life should be more than this." It doesn't burn like frantic passion every day. It's not about constant hustle, but it exists as a steady sense of possibility. Right now, under the energy of Dessous, this seed is waiting for the right soil, the right season. You may not yet see the new path clearly, but it is there, waiting for its moment to emerge. In terms of personality, with Tianji, together with Wu Chu and Qisha, on the surface you may appear easygoing, talkative, even lively or quick to respond. But deep inside, you hold very strong principles. You are someone who values integrity and loyalty, especially in friendships. This is another expression of your strong sense of principle. You have clear lines you will not cross. Your bottom line is set high, and you would never sacrifice it for small or temporary gains. Overall, the energy of this card shows that within you, there is drive, ambition, and the desire to achieve something greater. Yet at this moment, you may still be in a phase of preparation, accumulating strength, planning, observing, waiting for the right timing. The energy is one of gathering momentum, ready to burst forth when the moment arrives. Now, let's look at your prophecy in this current state of waiting and observing. The hexagram Dessous transforming into Gu gives us an important reminder. Some opportunities that seem profitable or promising on the surface may in fact be traps. Gu represents inner decay, something that looks fine on the outside but is rotten within. So the cards are cautioning you to be mindful, to evaluate carefully before stepping forward. But don't be alarmed. Receiving this message doesn't mean you are doomed to fall into pitfalls. On the contrary, it shows that you already have the awareness to avoid them. That awareness itself is your protection. As for your prophecy, with Tanlang, Tianxi, and Tianguan appearing here, they indicate that your outer appearance will undergo a transformation, making others see you in a completely new light at a certain stage of your life. This doesn't necessarily mean cosmetic changes or medical procedures. Rather, it's a change that comes from self-discipline and inner growth. The transformation is not only about looking good, but about your energy, your vitality, what we call Qi and Shen. It's the way you carry yourself, the spirit you radiate. People won't just see you as attractive, they will feel uplifted, inspired, or deeply connected when they interact with you. In other words, your charm is not superficial, it flows from the inside out. With Tanlang and Tianxi together, this energy suggests strong popularity, even being loved wherever you go. Now, considering the hexagram de Su transforming into Gu, it may also indicate that you've been physically confined in some way, staying in one place for a long period, perhaps due to obligations, contracts, or circumstances that hold you there. Sometimes it can feel like being stuck, wanting to move, but unable to. However, the appearance of Tianyu and Tianma reveals the second prophecy. This is connected to movement and relocation. These stars suggest shifts in your physical location, travel, or even a change of residence or work environment. First of all, let's talk about your connections and support. You will encounter people who come to help you, not because you go out searching for them, but because they come riding toward you, so to speak. And sometimes Tianyu doesn't only represent one person. It can even mean a group of people showing up in your life, bringing blessings and good fortune. In short, you'll have benefactors and lucky encounters that arrive at just the right time. Second, when we look at location and movement, the stars Tianyu and Tianma also point to opportunities for travel or relocation. If you've been stuck in one place for a long time, something may suddenly push you to move. What's interesting is that this movement often happens beyond your own planning. You may not have expected it or even fully wanted it, but it turns out to be a good thing. Many times in life, when something changes, we don't immediately realize its value. But later on, when we look back, we see it was actually a blessing in disguise. So this energy can manifest as anything from a short-term trip abroad, like travel or study exchange, all the way to bigger changes such as relocation, long-term study overseas, work assignments abroad, or even migration. Third, let's return to Tianxiang and Nguang. In the system of Ziwei astrology, Tianxiang is known as the minister, the one holding the imperial seal. This represents authority, responsibility, and access to important matters. So, at some stage in your life, you may find yourself in a position where you hold the keys to something significant. It could be important company documents, leadership authority, or management-level responsibilities. And, of course, it can also mean your personal wealth and assets grow to a point where managing them becomes substantial. Not just having multiple bank accounts with nothing in them, but actually holding something of real value. With N Guang showing up alongside, it suggests that when you reach this point of recognition or authority, others may look at you and ask, "How did you get here? How did you build all this?" So, this hexagram is called De Chu Jigu. At first, it may look like everything in your journey has just been about luck. But actually, you've worked really hard. None of your achievements could have happened without your own effort. Of course, you might tell people, "I've been lucky, I've had a lot of support along the way." That's true, but the key here is you are willing to connect with those people, and with the energy of Tan Lang, you've got strong initiative, big ideas, and the power to actually get things done. That's a big part of why you succeed. Because of this energy, people will naturally see you as very attractive. Now, when I say attractive, I don't just mean the kind of beauty that fades quickly, like being skinny, delicate, or a pretty face in a crowd. This is something deeper. It's a kind of aura that grows with time, like a presence, a charisma, that makes people feel drawn to you. It's the kind of charm where the more people talk to you, the more they like being around you. Now, let's break down the predictions here. First, your appearance and aura will make you very magnetic, and your popularity will grow. Tianlang itself is a star of peach blossom, which means not only romantic attraction but also strong social connections. So you'll notice that people want to be close to you, not just in love, but in friendships, partnerships, even community ties. It's like your whole network gets stronger. Second, a lot of lucky events are waiting for you. You'll meet benefactors, people who show up to support you, sometimes unexpectedly. And even things like changes in rules, systems, or policies might shift in your favor, almost as if the environment itself is helping you. So, opportunities and blessings will arrive one after another. Third, with stars like Tianxiang and Nguang, you'll have the chance to hold authority over something important, almost like being given the seal of power. This shows career advancement, financial growth, and a certain status. And because Tianlang is paired with Tianxi here, it also suggests that within your wide circle of relationships, you could very well meet your true partner, your destined match. Now, let's take a look at the Oracle card. Since the message we just saw mentioned that some effort is needed, let's see what the Oracle wants to add. This one is really beautiful. It says, "What you want is already here, in the present." If you want your wishes to come true, the most powerful thing you can do is to speak them out with belief. And this energy feels so much like what we just talked about with Tianyu and Tianma. It's like the things you desire, the benefactors you're waiting for, or even new opportunities and supportive changes. They're already on their way to you, almost as if they're riding in on horseback. That's why I always remind people, don't keep saying things like, "I can't do this, it won't work, it's impossible." Because the moment you believe it's impossible, you close the door on your own blessings. But when you believe, you create space for it to happen. So the Oracle card here is basically telling you, trust it and it will arrive. Welcome to Group 4, everyone who chose number 334. The hexagram we received from the number divination is Earth over Water, sure, transforming into Earth Zailing. And your marker object is this phantom quartz with a black inclusion inside. Beautiful piece. Now, let's take a look at the Z-Way cards to connect with your energy. The Sure hexagram is the hexagram of truth in action, so compared with the previous groups, where some things were still in the planning stage or already completed, this one is about things that are currently happening or just about to unfold. It's like being right on the battlefield in the middle of action, so the energy here is very dynamic. The first star we see is Tian Tong. This often suggests that some of you may have a baby face, or your appearance makes it hard to tell your actual age. For some, it could even be your voice. It sounds youthful and ageless. When Tian Tong combines with Tianlang, the impression is very cute, charming, or youthful, sometimes even looking younger than your real age. And it's not just about women. Men can also carry this energy. For men, it often feels like a bright, sunny big boy kind of charm, someone approachable and warm-hearted. Then we see Tianji again, representing intelligence. Tianji together with Tian Tong often gives this vibe of being clever, witty, and a little mischievous, what we call full of clever ideas. You also have Wenchang and Tai Yin. With Tai Yin appearing here, I'd say many in this group may have fair or radiant skin. And when Tian Tong, Tianlang, Tianji, and Tai Yin come together, this is a clear sign of very high emotional intelligence. Now, emotional intelligence here doesn't mean flattery or empty charm. It means that when people interact with you, they feel truly comfortable, understood, and at ease. You tend to say the right words at the right time, act appropriately, and balance reason with warmth. You're skilled in social interactions, even if you identify as more introverted or extroverted. That doesn't limit your ability. Think about it. Many salespeople, talk show hosts, even comedians, if tested, may score as introverts. But that doesn't stop them from performing brilliantly in social settings. It's about how you manage your energy, not whether you are introverted or extroverted. And you, Group 4, clearly have this gift. Also, another thing I see is that during your upbringing, you were probably deeply loved by more than one elder or mentor. Maybe you were cherished by grandparents, or had more than one older family member who showed you special care and affection. So there's a sense of being nurtured and supported in your growth. And with Chu Tian Tong showing up here, it also suggests that deep inside, many of you still carry a strong sense of childlike innocence. For example, if you're a man, you might still enjoy things like building race cars out of Lego or playing with toys from your childhood. If you're a woman, it could be something like collecting dolls. These days people collect BJD dolls, or maybe figurines and other kinds of collectibles. So Tian Tong energy points to these kinds of playful, innocent hobbies that keep your inner child alive. People around you may even describe you as someone who is very pure, very trusting. They might even jokingly say, "Don't get tricked when you go out." That's the feeling this card brings. Now, this quality is also related to age. If you're under 35, this childlike quality is likely to be very visible. Your personality may feel youthful, open, and easy to trust. But after 35, in Ziwei astrology, your qualities begin to shift into what we call the Shen Palace, the Life Maturity Palace. This doesn't mean your innocence disappears, it's just not as obvious to others. Deep down, you still have it, but it may be less outwardly expressed. And I want to emphasize, this innocence doesn't mean you're not intelligent. On the contrary, you may be very clever. But it does mean you're the type who tends to trust people easily, to see the good in human nature. And yes, sometimes that may lead to moments where you get hurt, but overall, your outlook is still very bright and positive. You prefer to expect the good in people rather than the bad, and that makes your energy naturally very likable and magnetic. Also, if we look at the combination of Tai Yin Wenchang and Tianji showing up together, this points to a special talent in writing, literature, or the arts. You may have a gift for expressing yourself through words, storytelling, or even visual arts like drawing and painting. To you, art and beauty are not just hobbies, they're essential parts of life that give meaning and joy. The prophecy of Shi Ling is actually quite straightforward. This card indicates that as long as you follow the current rules or some established regulations, good things will naturally happen. It's like an army going out to battle. They have strict military discipline, and as long as the rules are strictly followed, the mission will be accomplished. For you, this represents self-discipline, which is very beneficial. It's not only about following external rules, but also about keeping certain regular patterns in your own life. For example, if you are a novelist, instead of waiting for inspiration or writing at random times, you may need to set rules for yourself, like writing for 3 hours every morning. The suggestion here is that having a fixed routine or discipline is best, or at least the current energy supports this. Additionally, Shi Ling may correspond to the environment you are in, such as a company or school where discipline is very important. For example, a place where even being 1 minute late is recorded, or where rules are strictly enforced. If you're not currently in such a disciplined environment, this card still reminds you that self-discipline and following regular patterns will be very beneficial for you. In the original Ziwei chart, this group has a very high possibility of encountering a soulmate, a person with whom you have spiritual resonance. You may meet this kindred spirit while searching for the path of your passion. With Tai Yin and Tian Liang appearing together, this group may also include freelancers or people who aspire to a freelance lifestyle. As I mentioned when we first did the numerological divination, pursuing freelancing requires more self-discipline and also offers greater achievement. So, if you are currently a freelancer, you still need to maintain some order in your daily work, whether it's how you divide tasks or plan your daily schedule. It doesn't have to be a rigid timetable, but having a certain pattern is beneficial. When Qin Yang and Long Qi appear together, it indicates that once your passion is ignited, it becomes unstoppable. You won't be able to put it aside. You will dive into it with full energy and extraordinary execution. For example, if you encounter a challenge, you might stay up all night to solve it immediately. If you feel your current execution is lacking, it's likely because you haven't yet discovered the path you are most passionate about, the thing your heart truly wants to pursue. The key is to explore and search. Sometimes, due to the influence of Tian Tong, you might appear lazy or distracted, or your energy might seem low. This usually happens because what you are doing now doesn't truly interest you. It's something you're forced into, so it's natural for your motivation to be weak, for you to feel sluggish, or to get easily distracted. However, once you find your life's point of passion, you will pursue it with tireless dedication. Long Qi and Feng Ge form a pair of stars. Long Qi, in particular, is similar to Hua Gai and Wen Chu, emphasizing inner cultivation and also relating to artistic talent. For members of this group who feel disconnected from the arts in this life, I suggest starting with free museums. Just wander around. Perhaps one painting or one work will give you a sudden spark of inspiration. This spark often comes from encountering something ancient or timeless. Let's take a look at the Oracle card. Overall, the information for this group feels a bit niche. This card also suggests that this group is well suited to keeping a gratitude journal. By appreciating everything you already have, not only will you notice that what you possess continues to grow, but you will also open a door to receive everything you long for, welcoming a truly happy and fulfilling life. So the guidance from this Oracle card is about how to get closer to this vision. Thank you very much for supporting this channel. If you enjoy I Ching Divination or other forms of fortune telling, please follow Mysticast. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like.